Okay, Tanya Belanger, B-E-L-A-N-G-E-R. I am Tanya Belanger, and I'm a paraeducator here at Chequamegon Elementary. And I work with a few different autistic students. For about 9 years now I've been here. And the Autism Grant has given us money to attend several different trainings, teachers, paras, administrators, even parents, and different resources, books, all different videos, all different resources to help us understand autism more and working with ASD students. Inclusion, in the classroom inclusion, is being implemented now. And with that comes a lot of confusion with special ed, regular ed teachers, parents, roles, who does what. How do we handle tantrums? How do we handle behaviors? And a lot of regular ed teachers, and actually all of the staff, don't really understand autism and how the autistic brain thinks. And this grant has given us the resources to have trainings to teach everyone how to work better with these students. Some of the challenges have been, like I said, roles. With the inclusion classroom, there's been a lot of challenges between regular ed staff, special ed staff. What is behavior and what is sensory?
Like a tantrum.
You're right.
Tantrum versus
right. And when that student acts out, whose role is it to help the student? And one thing that we've been focusing on is visuals. And integrating the visuals throughout the entire school, kind of in every step of the student's day, and not only having the student's aide or special ed teacher use the visuals, teaching the student to independently use them, and also their regular ed teacher and even peers to use them to help the student integrate into the classroom.
And to communicate better with each other.
And communicate, and yes. The peers, I think it's a pretty neat process to see. We have books to read to them, different videos to show them, and actually just little peer groups, even out on the playground, to help them understand what autism is and why an autistic peer may act the way they do and how they can react to it in an appropriate way as well, and just how they can play with that student and become friends with them. And actually we've seen a lot of change and a lot of good change working with peer groups with students. I'm a para, and really we work as a team, special ed teacher, special ed administrator, the other paras, speech therapists, OT therapists. We all work together as a team. We collaborate and come up with ideas, visuals that we're all going to do the same throughout her day, so her routine is the same, so her anxiety is lessened. And we actually have 4 paras that work with the student, so throughout the day, we do everything the same. Each para tries to keep everything routine for the student, and as consistent as possible. And also, I think we have the special needs teacher is usually present right in the room to help, with whatever is needed. But having that para there with her each step of the way, not to do everything for her, but to just support her, and like I was saying before, also to educate peers and even regular teachers, because you know that child best. So you're going with that child throughout her day, and it's not just for her benefit, it's for everybody's. So pretty important role I think the paras play with the students. In this student's case, the parents are pretty involved. We actually have an online blog that all of the paras and, the special ed teacher updates daily, and that's how we communicate with the parent. And actually the parent is present quite a bit and pretty involved, and we keep track of every new idea we're coming up with, a new visual, a new behavior system, and we try to keep it as consistent as possible at home so that the behaviors are reduced. Since we've been using the evidence-based practice, which is continued visual supports for the student, it has improved our entire staff's teaching methods with the student, because we've learned to understand how she is thinking, how her neurology works by using these visuals and seeing the difference it makes with anxiety, with independence, with tantrums, with everything. And so throughout the day, it's made our job a lot easier by being consistent, and also provided a tool for us to use when the student is having the anxiety or the tantrums. We know that that's a comfort for her to have those visuals, and they're in place throughout her entire day.
Sarah Steiner, Steiner. My name is Sarah Steiner. I'm a special ed teacher in Chequamegon Elementary School. I work with, I have on my caseload, I have 13 students that range from ASD students to LD to EBD students. A majority of my students are ASD though. And I work with K through 5. I work with students that have emotional behavior disturbance, which is also known as EBD. I work with students who have learning disabilities, which is also known as LD, and I work with students who have ASD, which is autism, which are on the autism spectrum disorder. Each kid is different. I work with, they all have their own individual learning techniques, and most of the time I work with them one-on-one or in small groups. Some of the challenges, like with ASD students, that we have seen is behaviorally and the sensory, knowing the difference between a behavior, a tantrum, and a sensory overload, and using this evidence-based practice. And with the autism grant, and we've gone and been to several trainings, and it was a lot of great information on how to determine that, and it gave us the opportunity to come back and teach our staff and inform them that, you know, that child is not just being naughty, it is a sensory overload, or what the triggers are, or how to identify whether it's a tantrum or a sensory overload. The peers, we work in groups that are called, we call them peer-mediated groups. And what it is we teach the kids lessons and teach them about autism. And with the whole inclusion process, they have grown up and go from grade to grade with these specific students. And they've learned what the different triggers might be, or how to react in certain situations when that student may be having a meltdown, or how to cheer them up, or how to just engage them in playing with them. We use a lot of visuals, visuals for like everything. For instance, we had a Christmas concert and we didn't have our visuals available, so we have our whiteboard, and the whiteboard is very key to certain students that can read, and we just write it down and they read it, and that is a huge relief for them to help them bring down their anxiety, or they know their expectations of what they need to be doing at that time. And it's also behavior incentives, and just breaking down the tasks. We use the whiteboards, any visual to sit there, and so like if we have 3 math sheets we have to get through, we break down the tasks so that they know, okay, task 1 is done, we'll put a check mark or a smiley face, or, you know, if the student does it nicely, following all the expectations that we have on a visual next to them, then they get a smiley face or a frown face, or a check mark showing that they've completed it. So they know what's coming next and what is expected of them. A lot of times when they don't know what's coming next, it's that unknown. They don't know how to react, they don't know how to behave, they don't know what's coming next. And it's always nice to have that structured schedule for them so they know what's coming. So it kind of gives them a heads up. It's had its good days and its bad days. Since we've been doing a lot of this evidence-based practices with the visuals and going to the trainings, a lot of the teachers are more on board with it, and realizing that a lot of the visuals that we use benefit all students, not just students with ASD. They need that little area to go to that they know that they can work there, or a break area when they, are feeling stressed or they're all completed, that they know, okay, I get to go have a break and de-stress yourself or lower your level of anxiety, and then they can regroup and come back with the rest of the class. It's really important to have that little area for them to know. It's almost like their safe zone.
We call it a job station.
Yeah, a job station safe zone where they go to it and they know that at that station, it's everything that they already know how to do and they are successful at it. I wouldn't say I know it all, but I know quite a bit. But, I'm constantly learning. The kids change daily, hourly. And, something that may have worked 5 minutes ago might not work. So you're constantly coming up and brainstorming new ideas. That's why it's great to have all of the staff, the para educators that we work with. They know the students just as well as we know the students, and the regular teachers are jumping on board with us now too. So it's constantly learning the different, and as the kids grow and get older, they change too. So you're constantly learning, and you're learning new things every day. Being at home, the parents need to be on board with us so that we can have that consistency, because otherwise you're teaching them at school, they're great, they're following the routines, then they go home and come back and you have to teach them all over again. So it's great when you have parent support and even like community support, that the community is understanding these children and that not everybody's going to be the same or behave the same or learn the same way. And it's an eye-opener to some people when they first come in, and then after a while it's like, oh, these kids are like awesome. The little girl that you're going to be seeing her name is Taylor. She is on the autism spectrum disorder. Every day is a different day for her. Even from morning to afternoon could be different. She is very, very bright. She does all of the regular ed curriculum. Behaviorally, we've had challenges with her lately, this school year actually. The beginning of the school year, she came in very, very high anxiety levels, very dysregulated, probably from the summer. And we had to take a step back and have her more in a self-contained classroom now. And she has come a long way since the beginning of the school year. We've really, really beefed up the visuals this year. We have a visual for almost everything. We have the bathroom visuals, the what to do for each assignment, the expectations for the work area. She now has successfully been able to go through her schedule and tell us what comes next on her schedule, and she helps us build her daily schedule independent. And most of the time she does it independently. It's just sometimes she wants to throw in like a field trip where a field trip shouldn't be, but she does a lot of echolalia of movie titles or movie lines. Sometimes they're inappropriate when you ask her a question, like she'll give you just a bunch of nonsense movie like a line from a movie. But other times, lately we've seen that she's been able to answer with like a movie title that's appropriate, like a line that's appropriate for that certain question. It may not be exactly what you're asking, but that's the way that she'll answer it to you. With the noise sensitivity, it just seems like, for instance, at snack time, the kids, when there's a child's birthday in her class, they clap and they sing happy birthday, and it's too loud for her. And so she'll get really sensitive and try to cover her ears, or sometimes she'll scream. And it's a lot of times when there's more than one person talking. So people talking in unison, that just, it almost to me, when I see her react, it's like when you have someone take your fingernails down a chalkboard. That's how she's hearing when people are talking in unison. Like the bells sometimes startle her, like when the bell goes off. Music class, if it's too loud in music, if it's a song she doesn't like, those are just setting up for her for screaming or being very sensitive or needing to leave the classroom because it's too much for her. Other days, when she's less anxious, it doesn't seem to bother her as much. But on the days when she comes in right away in the morning, and sometimes you can just tell when she's like really heightened anxiety, you know that every little single noise is going to be affecting her. And it's sometimes it can be a challenge, but other times, we're teaching her, like sometimes we write on the visual board, if it's too loud, grab your headphones, and we'll show her, and she'll go get her headphones and put them on independently. Sometimes if it's, we don't realize that it's loud, and she, gets upset and screams to be quiet, then we kind of just verbally prompt her, make sure you go get your headphones if it's too loud. Sometimes she needs those reminders.
Yeah. What's your name?
Quentin Kane,
And how do you spell your last name?
Cain. Well, they give us instructions and more details about what's going on every day.
And how do they give you those instructions? How are they presented to you?
It's like they're giving me hints.
Mm-hmm. And they give them in two ways. Can you think of those two ways?
Talking
And?
and some notes.
Mm-hmm. So they give you verbal instructions, and then they also make posters to go along with it so you
Yes.
can see what's expected. Mm-hmm. How have they tried to help you communicate with mom and dad about what goes on at school?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, that's okay. You may not remember that they've sent some letters home.
Or Gmails.
Or Gmails, yes, absolutely, with the Gmail. Gmails are a good thing. What do you like about having buddies in gym class?
They help you. They help you figure out some other ways about what goes on.
Okay, good. Let me think of what else that we have talked about. What do you want people to know about how you learn? What do you like when you're learning something new?
I'm learning about business
Mm-hmm. You are learning about business
and life.
and life. It's important to learn about life, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you are learning about something new, does it help you to have it written down?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe could you talk about that a little bit, about how you like to hear somebody talk about it, and you also like to see it written down so you can follow it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you need to say that.
Yeah, they do talk to me, but they always write down to leave note. It's for me to remember.
Because what happens when you see a note?
I just read it.
And then what happens in your brain?
Memorize it.
Yeah, you're good at memorizing anything you see, aren't you? You like that. Okay.
You're doing great, Quinn. You're doing.
There was my cousin, and there was Devin Bowman, there's Stephen Cooley, and pretty much it.
And what do you like to do with your buddies when you're at school?
We kind of chat.
Absolutely. Chat.
Kaylin Alexander, Alexander. I'm in Adapted Fayed, and we help some of the mentally disabled children in our school. And lately we've been getting together with Miss Volstead, and we kind of just meet as a group and try to think of ways to make the class easier for them and to make even school easier for them, and to notify schoolmates of how to make it easier for them as well. So it's not just us doing all the work. The first day we went through like a stimulation of what an autistic kid goes through in their everyday life, and you had to turn the volume all the way up, so it was super loud, and there's like the image of the video is kind of cloudy, so it just kind of gave us an idea of what they go through every single day of their life. So instead of us yelling at them like, hey, come on, we got to go play this game, we can say it in a more quieter voice, because we know that the loud noises bug them. And I mean, no one would like to walk around every day with horns blaring in their head. So it kind of gives us an idea of how to communicate with them, what sets them off, what makes them tick, and then with us knowing that personally, it's made me understand them a lot better, and it's easier to communicate with them, and I've been able to get closer to them because I know their likes and their dislikes, and it's easier for me to talk to other friends and say, you know, hey, one of them doesn't like when you do this, or they take this in this way, and it's just easier for me to be more of a teacher to other schoolmates. So. At lunch, there's always this one kid who wants to sit by everyone at the lunch table, and he has all these friends, and I think a lot of people have gotten used to that, and they don't just kind of like, oh no, you can't really sit here. They're more opening to it, and they're more welcome because they understand.
Riley Damrow, D-A-M-R-O-W. So I originally started Adaptive Ed because I just wanted to do something different and get to know some new kids in our school. And then Miss Folstead started this program where she took a few students and we went into her room just to learn about autistic kids and learn about what they go through in their day-to-day life and why it's so hard for them to make friends, and the social aspect of why, you know, it's really hard for them to make friends. But it's really hard for them. They're socially awkward, I guess you could say. They don't really know what to say. Like if they saw, you know, a boyfriend and a girlfriend in the hallway and the boyfriend kissed the girlfriend on the cheek, they'd be like, oh, she smiled at that, I'm gonna go kiss her on the cheek. You know, so in their mind it's like, you know, whatever, they really like that. So it's for us, it's to help them understand like that's not really socially acceptable for you just to go up to his girlfriend and kiss her on the cheek. So it's important for us to kind of take them aside and teach them, hey, these are kind of the rules just of life. And, you know, it's important to teach them, you know, like we know walking in the hallway on the right side, you go one way, on the left side, you're coming the other way. And, you know, they could be walking in the middle, weaving, and it's important to teach them the day-to-day life skills of things that we already know, but they might not understand. So basically we have taken this experience and helped them by making posters for gym and just kind of drawing out what the game is supposed to look like, giving them tips on how to help them. And it's worked really well. They really like it. And now they're able to just hop in the game and just start playing, where rather when we were just explaining it to them, they were just kind of like, I don't get it at all. Like they just don't really get the verbal part of it. So showing them on pictures, they were totally able to just hop right in the game and start playing. So it was pretty awesome. It's definitely affected my life because I wanted to be a public health nurse without any specializations, but now I want to specialize in autism spectrum disorder because it's a very prevalent disorder. It's about 1 in 68 kids now. So I definitely want to go into this field and kind of explore on why it's happening and, you know, get to know what's going on and how they feel. Autism is a spectrum disorder, so for one person it could be just very baseline, you know, hardly anything wrong, but for the next kid who is on the other end of the spectrum, it's really, really hard for them to function. They are verbal, they just can't communicate at all. So it's a very interesting disorder because, it's different in so many ways. But there are like certain tips that, each kid you can tell has autism. Like they are all socially awkward, some more so than others, but they just are very special in each and every way. They are very different.
Maggie Nesbitt, Nesbit. Well, I joined adapted PE like the others because I didn't want to be in a regular gym class. I wanted to experience something new and something different and be able to help the other kids in gym. And then Miss Falstad started the PMII program, and it sounded really interesting to me because I wanted to learn more about how people with autism functioned and what they went through. And so it's been a really good experience because now I understand how they feel and how they approach things. Their senses are heightened and they hear things differently and see things differently, and they're just very, they don't understand everything we already know. Just things that are just common sense to us, they don't always understand, so we have to explain to them what's acceptable and what isn't. And so when we tell them, we have to make it very clear to them what is and isn't acceptable. And so we have to come up with different ways to explain to them. Well, we have to adapt to them and I guess just like show them which way to do things, and we can't expect them to know everything we do. And so I guess they aren't different, like we shouldn't treat them different than our peers, other than just like explaining to them and showing them what's right and wrong sometimes. The kids in adapted PE wanted to know how to act at prom, so we showed them how to dance with a girl and showed them what's okay and what's not, and they really enjoyed it, and they used it at prom when they went to prom, so that was fun to teach them. We showed them how to slow dance with a girl, and just a simple slow dance, and we showed them how to just dance to a normal like fast beat, and we made videos for them and showed them in gym class.
Jessica Herbst, Herbst. I, like the others, joined adaptive PE in the beginning of the year, and around like the second semester, a PMII course was offered to us through Mrs. Folstad, and it sounded very interesting, and I really wanted to do it because it would help us learn how to interact with the kids on the spectrum more, and it really gave us a good opportunity to do that. Overall, they're treated pretty well in the school, I see, and really, like in our class, we learned how to set an example of how to treat them well, and students really follow that, and they treat the kids on the spectrum like with respect, just like any other kids, we've learned how to explain things better to them and how they can interact with us more. Well, I've really learned that how differently kids on the spectrum see things, and they don't know basic social norms that we do. So I think people should just know that they don't really know how to act sometimes, and that we can give examples and show them how to behave socially. And the class really helped me learn how to teach them those things. And yeah.
Tess Richard, Richard. We try to help adaptive kids in our Phi Ed class. I got into it because of Miss Falstead, and I think it's been a great experience, and I really like helping the kids in the class. I think they've also learned a lot from it. The kids, even unadaptive kids, we help them teach the adaptive kids how they should behave and what a really fun gym class can be like. Devin specifically knowing that we are able to help him, and he knows that we've been learning about it. So he can talk to us in the lunchroom, in the hallways. He always says hi to us. Other kids in our gym class too, he'll say hi to all the time. We learned about their brain size and how the stimulations, how they can have many different ways of like hearing or seeing things, and like mannerisms. They have a very different way of expressing themselves too. They like to talk about specific things. Lots of awkward moments. But they were pretty easy to deal with. You kind of veer away, and we know what they like, so we can start a new topic if it gets a little awkward. And they listen to us. They know, like, if they are too close, we can tell them, just give them helpful reminders. They do not like schedule changes. They like a very timely and orderly schedule. But I think with a lot of people around them reminding them what's happening, what we're going to do, even if it's right on the spot, just telling them what exactly we are going to do helps them be calm. One day in gym class, we were going to go biking, but Quinn didn't know that. So we had to, on the spot, decide what we were going to do and how we were going to tell him that we had to go outside, because it was a pretty cold day too. So he was getting a little nervous about going biking and that it was going to be cold out. So once we got out there, we helped him through getting his bike, but then he was cold, so we had to ride back in, and he was getting frustrated and flustered. But we got his sweatshirt and came back outside, and once we got on the bike, he was able to calm down a little bit. Everything was going the way we told him it would. I think in gym class especially, they've understood more of the directions with our videos and posters that we made. And I think having kids that know how to deal with it in the class helps even the other kids help them along. We made a video for the dancing for prom. And then all of our posters, we usually make a poster to go along with each activity or game. And then our teacher, Mr. Schwinski, uses it to explain the game. And we kind of help him afterwards, just help the buddies a little bit more to decipher what the game is all about and make it really simple for them.
Jessica Folstead, Folstad. So I teach special ed at Chequamegon High School, and I have worked with a group of 5 regular ed students this year to implement some peer-mediated instruction strategies. I have seen a lot of growth as far as their ability and willingness to communicate with all students in our school. I've also noticed that they're taking active roles in the lives of the kids here. So for example, they threw a birthday party for one of the students in Adaptive, and they brought pizzas in at lunch and made them cards and included the other students in Adaptive and invited them to participate with the birthday celebration, and that was just the coolest thing to them. They were so excited and so happy, and they came to class and they're like, my friends had a party and my friends invited me to come to the birthday party, and they were just thrilled to be a part of something social at school that was really not like they had ever experienced before. So that was very cool. PMI is peer-mediated instruction and intervention, and I think that students have become more independent twofold. One, the regular ed students who are helping implement the PMI program have really become independent in the fact that if they see something going on that they think could be improved, they don't wait for an adult to make that change. They just say, oh, this is what was happening in class today, and we quick made a visual in order for them to understand that there was going to be a schedule change. Or we quick said, what if we, instead of lifting weights this way, showed a demonstration and then did A, B, and C. And they get it. They can, on the fly, say, here's how we can make this better, and they just do it. So that has been very cool. And it's been good for the kids on the spectrum and other students with disabilities because they see more of a natural support system, and they have a very positive interaction with their peers, and they see them as their friends. And that has been huge for them to be able to actually say, I have friends at school. I think we're very fortunate where we are because we're a small community, and these kids have grown up together for their whole school careers. So really there's an acceptance that's just inherent in our school. Kids have disabilities, they're accepted. The part that I have seen the most change is that students have a much clearer understanding as far as how to communicate with students with disabilities and strategies that they can use in order for their communication to be very effective. They also understand the quirky little things that they see throughout a school day that before they might have been like, oh, I don't know, is it a weird quirk? Is that part of their disability? They have a more solid foundation for what autism is, some of those social aspects to autism, and they're very comfortable now feeling like it is their role and their right to step in and say, hey, here's how you could make this situation better. Or I noticed you doing this or this. And people might think that that's awkward, or they might not understand why you're doing that. So here's how you could maybe act next time in that situation to help you. And so that has been huge because there's a focus on students getting instruction from other students instead of always from an adult. And I think that just expands their base of people to have in their lives and their base for people to communicate with in general. When I decided that peer-mediated instruction and intervention was a strand that I wanted to focus on, I went to the Autism Internet Module site and I looked at how does this work? How do you get this going in a school? What's a good starting point? For me, the starting point was good kids. So you needed students who were not only willing to work with all types of other students, but you needed students whose personalities lend themselves to just that natural helping, positive communication, fantastic social skills in order to facilitate a program. And then access. So really, because I am limited to teaching special ed, I needed access to students, and so that's how I ended up partnered up with the adaptive ed teacher, saying, you know, here's what I would like to do. Can I have access to your kids one day a week so that I can work with them and help them make gym class and, in general, the school environment a better place? And he was, absolutely. I guess for me, I measure success by how the students come back from adaptive ed at the end of the day. And so I work with the peer mediators 6th hour once a week. 6th hour is also their adaptive ed class time. 7th hour, I have those students in class with me. And you always know when there has been a positive change, because they'll say, oh, there was a poster hanging up today and it said this, this, and this. And so I knew exactly what I needed to do today. Rock on, that's awesome. And so they talk about the positive change that they've seen in understanding and being able to feel less frustrated in class because they have a better idea of what's expected of them and what's going on in general. So I gauge the success by what kind of feedback am I getting from my kiddos with disabilities. I think the biggest challenge, honestly, is that after a while, you have so much information in your head about disabilities and what it means for a student to have that disability that you make these assumptions that people should just know this. And they don't. And that's where it's really hard for me to step back and say, okay, I have to remember that this is kind of like a teachable moment, and I have to help prep staff in order for them to be successful, because they don't have all of that background content knowledge that I have as a special educator, and that it is my role to help them understand in order for them to be more successful. Well, support systems are pretty critical. The grant that we received has helped because we've had extensive training, so that's been wonderful. I have great parents that I work with, so that's fantastic. I can pick up the phone at any one point and say, here's what happened at school today, and part of that was my fault because sometimes I just forget not to be sarcastic. And so when he comes home and says, this is what Mrs. Folstead said, yeah, I really said that, and I tried to make it okay. And I'll get the laugh out loud, haha, better you than me, and okay, we'll take care of it. But I think that is huge, is that we have great parents to work with, and they're super understanding, and they want their kids to fit in with others, and so they welcome programs like peer-mediated instruction. You know, say, can I talk about your student? Because in order for peers to help, they have to understand a little bit about what the disability area is. And absolutely, yes, please help educate people. Please help their friends understand why they do the things that they do, and that, you know, they don't do it intentionally or on purpose. They do it because they don't know any better. And they welcome that opportunity for their son or daughter to really have regular, normal social relationships. Ideally, in a perfect world, it would be a regular thing that happens every year. Ideally, it would be led by peers. So maybe as a sophomore, you take a training class. As a junior, you implement and you work on gaining your own skills. And as a senior, you're leading classes on how to help your peers. In a perfect world, it wouldn't come just from teachers. It would come from a more natural support system. I have, 3 sophomores, a junior, and a senior, and they come one day a week, and they work with me about understanding students with disabilities, autism in particular. But we talk about general disabilities and how strategies that they're learning will help them with any student, whether it be a student who is ADHD and just can't attend to a task, or a student on the spectrum who needs additional structure and support in order to be successful. But the most important part of the Fabulous Five about my girls is that they want to help. They are willing and able to help, and they take it seriously, and they work really diligently to assess what they're doing, look at it and say, is this the best? Is this the best that we can do to make sure that everything is smooth and everything transitions well for our kids with disabilities? That's been the most important and heartwarming thing for me.
Nina Eimerman, Eimermann. I am a first grade teacher.
Okay.
So I'm on the autism team, and I chose visual supports. And with that, I was able to use it. I'm a regular ed teacher, so I was able to use it with the majority of my regular ed students, but also the special ed students that are in my room. I have visual supports really just for myself, but for my students too, but so that they can kind of be aware of what's going on. They know what's coming next. I don't have all the, well, they're 6 because they're in first grade, so what's next, how long are we doing this? They don't have that. We have timers that go with the schedule. The schedule is written right on the board. They have one on their desk that they can mark off. Like for things like writing, we actually have it spelled out right on the writing desk, and then they can check it off as they do it, so they know kind of what they're supposed to do in that 15-minute time period. And then they know when they're done, most likely that timer is going to go off, and if not, there's some things they can do instead. So they're just so that the kids know what's going on, and it kind of eases that anxiety that they might have, like what's coming next. So. Yeah, so when I had the student with autism is when I really started doing more of it. And then now this year I continue it and I change it a little bit because I can do, I don't have to break it up quite as much as I did last year, but even now with the regular ed students, they love it. They love knowing what's coming next. They like knowing how long they're going to be there, what the, not necessarily reward, but what's going to come at the end. Why am I doing this? So. A lot less behavior problems. They know what to do. They see it. Even if they can't read the words, they're 6. So there's usually a picture with it, or there's usually something that'll help them, identify what they're supposed to be doing. And the behaviors, I don't have them because they know what they're doing. They know what's expected, and they know if they do it, something good is most likely going to come from it. They're going to have a happy teacher. They're going to get a little 5 minutes of recess. It always depends on how we work. So. They're independent because they have the paper in front of them. It says exactly what they need to do. If they don't have that paper in front of them, they know where to get it. They know where to get information, and it's not me. They can even ask another student for their visual. They can ask a student if they know where to find the visual. I don't have to have all those questions, and then I can work one-on-one or one-on-3 with students while they're all independent. Yeah. I got my information for the visual supports from different trainings, some down in the Dells and then some in Ashland. We purchased a couple books through the grant, I know, and I still have 2 of them in my room that I use now. The special ed was a good resource to use, and actually the one-on-one aid that works with the student is a huge resource also. I also used the autism modules that we had and different websites that Christy had passed along with us. There are definitely changes school-wide. There's a lot of changes school-wide. You can walk into any room, and we kind of had a lot of the teachers start slower with just schedules kind of on the board, but you walk into any of our elementary rooms, I feel like you see them. You see teachers using them. A lot of times they'll have like a clip that follows them so the kids really know where they are. Maybe they erase it as they go. There's also just more things in the hallways. People will have things in their hands to remind kids. A lot of teachers are wearing things around their necks with different visuals on them to help kids. So you see it anywhere you go with a lot of the teachers. I think our training had a lot to do with that too. They realized it's not as hard as you might think. Our training that we did, it was a group of us that went in front of both the middle school, high school, and elementary school, and we were able to just provide some information, but it was information that was useful to them and to all the students. We didn't just focus on autism, we were able to focus on everybody, which was nice because then they were able to bring that into their classrooms. We even had our music teacher that really found a lot of useful things for just almost classroom management for him because he has such a large group of students and he obviously has all the special ed students as well. And then we took from that another training where we did a make and take, and we actually helped them to create those visuals, and that way they didn't feel so much pressure. It was just a group of us, we got together, we made them, we focused on their major problems, and they all were really happy with it. The most important thing I feel people should know is that really everything that you do for one student should be done with your whole classroom. I do that with everybody. They don't have to be autistic. They could just have a bad behavior or a behavior that's not expected, and I fix it for the whole class. It's something I do for everybody. I just started, because the end of the year gets a little rough with the students, I just started a bead system where every time they do something I like, I give them a bead, and they can visually see their beads go up, and when it gets to the top, they actually get an academic reward. But they asked me for the academic reward. So I hope people know that it's something that everybody can do. Every student can benefit from visuals. Every single student, even me. Now I follow that visual just as much as they do, and we're all calm. We all know what's coming. I'm more prepared. They're more prepared. It's helpful.
Hugger by her Simpson so fell asleep. And soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming
See the
near.
wings, the birds, and their backs. Hey, a loud voice said, why are you hanging upside down? Stella Luna's eyes opened wide. She saw the most peculiar face. I'm not upside down, you are, Stella Luna said. Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You are hanging by your thumbs, so that makes you upside down. The creature said, I'm a bat. I'm hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stella Luna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat.
More bats gathered around to see the strange bats who behaved like a bird. Stella Luna told them her story. You ate bugs.
Stuttered
one. You slept at night. Gasped another. How very strange. They all murmured. Wait! Let me look at this child. A bat passed through the crowd, and I will attack you.
She asked,
sniffing Stella Luna's fur. She whispered, "You are Stella Luna. You are my baby."
Is that her mama?
Yeah.
Where's her mama?
There.
This one? The big one?
Yes.
You escaped the owl, cried Stella Luna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she wrapped her wings around Stella Luna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stella Luna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we will crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in darkness. Come with us. Stella Luna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stella Luna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. See, it's like radar. Is that cool?
Yeah. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stella Luna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold.
You're doing great. Almost done.
I never eat another bug as long as alive. As I live.
As long as I live.
As long as I live. Cheered Stella Luna as she stuffed herself. I must tell Pip, Glitter, and Flop.
The next day, Stella Luna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stella Luna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the world, Stella Luna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stella Luna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When night came, Stella Luna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the trees to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Ah! Shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stella Luna. I must rescue them. Stella Luna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air.
Crabby in this.
She lifted them to a tree. See the tree? And the birds grasped a branch. Which one? Which branch did they get? This one or this one?
Or this one.
Stella Luna hung from the limb above them. We're safe, said Stella Luna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. How can we be so different and feel so much alike, mused Flitter. How can we feel so different and be so much alike? I think it's quite a mystery. The end.
What is everybody buggy doing yet?
Look, Ice. Happy face. High five. Give me some spaghetti fingers. Spaghetti. Okay, now what do we do next?
I need to take a picture, please.
Is that a camera?
Yes.
I think he's going to take a picture of Taylor, okay? Here, let's show him how we pick a new book. Let's go find one. Let's put this one back.
Pick a new book?
Yeah, over on the bookshelf. Which one do you want?
I need to take a picture.
Yeah, he's taking a picture of Taylor.
The doorbell rings.
Show him your new book.
Here, watch this.
There you are. See, he's taking pictures of Taylor. Isn't that cool?
Oh, yes.
Go put your book over there. Let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, look. Happy face, Taylor. Ice. Happy face. Now we got to set up your schedule. Let's go show the camera how we set up your schedule. Okay, it's showing how these are all done. Oh. Oh, no touching.
Don't trust him, Allison.
Okay, first reading. And then we'll do a little bit of this. Ice. Reading. Okay. And then what comes after that? A break.
Yes.
What's after break? Mrs. B comes and where do we go?
Recess.
Recess. And what do we do after recess?
Track and field day.
First we eat
Lunch.
lunch. Ice.
But I think.
Okay.
I think it's
And then after lunch, where do we get to go?
It's track and field day.
Kind of like a field trip, right? Let's see if we can find a field trip. Well, we will go for a walk to the track and field in the afternoon. And then we will play games and have fun. And then you get to go.
Oh?
Yep. And let's go look at our calendar. Today is, which day of the week? Yesterday was Wednesday. Eyes right here. Yesterday was Wednesday.
And Wednesday.
So what day is it today?
Track
Tuesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
So today is Thursday.
May. Track and field. 20,000 miles an hour.
28th, 2015. And where are we going to go today?
To track and field.
Yep, and we have school day tomorrow and then weekend. Okay? Come on over. What's next?
Happy flower story.
All right. Taylor reads this part. Mrs. B reads this part, okay? What's the name of the story?
Happy flowers.
All right, her name is Kim Ann.
Was going to visit her grandmother's. Her grandmother lived in the cold mountains. Kim,
Ann.
um,
He's almost done.
he's not almost done.
Ready, Kim?
He settled up. Kim Ann knew that her grandmother liked flowers before that noise was loudy.
It is. Do you want your headphones?
Nope.
Okay.
Before Kim Ann went into the mountains, she looked in her yard for flowers to bring.
Kim Ann saw some grass, but grass was no good. Kim Ann wanted flowers. What did she want?
Flowers?
Yes, because they're pretty. Kim Ann saw some roses, but she did not pick those. Roses could cut someone because they have thorns on them, don't they? Roses have hard thorns that cut your finger. Kim Ann saw some daisies. Does she want daisies?
Yes.
She thought daisies were happy flowers. Kim Ann picked many daisies to take to her grandmother. What kind of flowers did she bring to Grandma?
Daisies.
Happy flowers will make a happy grandmother, she thought. All right, let's read these. How does Kim Ann think the daisies are different from other flowers? Let's read this.
They are smaller, so they are easy to carry. They are more colorful, yet they last longer. They are happy, and they cannot hurt you.
Which one are daisies? Can daisies hurt you? Do they have thorns on them?
He's almost start.
Do you want headphones?
No.
Okay. Can daisies hurt you? Do they have thorns like roses?
Yeah.
Let's look. Let's look in the story. Oh, let's see. Kim saw some daisies. She thought daisies were
happy flowers.
So which one do you think?
Vice Spencer.
Which one? Are they smaller so they're easy to carry? Or they're happy?
Vincent cries loudly.
Yeah, he's almost done. And then he's going to leave, okay? So are they smaller and easy to carry, those daisies? Or are they happy and they can't hurt you?
And they can't hurt you.
Daisies don't hurt, do they? But do roses hurt?
Yes.
But are daisies happy flowers?
Yes.
So which one tells you about the happy flowers? Find the word happy. Okay, let's read this one.
Why did Kim Ann not want to pick roses?
Let's read. Because she thought roses were sad. Are roses sad?
Oh, yes.
Because she thought that they might cut her finger? Or because her grandmother did not like roses? Which one?
Because roses might cut her finger.
Good answer. Awesome. Okay, and what happened at the end of this story? Let's look. Where's the end of the story? Is this the end or is this the end?
This is the end.
Yeah, so let's read the sentence. Okay, Kim Ann picked many daisies to take to her grandmother. Who did she bring the daisies to?
Grandmother.
And happy flowers will make a happy grandmother, she thought. So what happened at the end of the story?
Kim Ann picked some flowers for her grandmother.
Or Kim Ann looked for some grass for her grandmother, or she planted flowers in her grandmother's yard. Which one?
Kim Ann looked for some grass for her grandmother.
Okay, fill it out. Okay, one more, then you're all done. How do you know that Kim Ann cares for her grandmother? How do you know that Kim Ann cares about her grandmother? What did she do for her? What did she give her?
The daisies instead of roses.
Good answer. Write it. Gave daisies instead of roses.
give daisies instead of roses?
Yep. Perfect answer.
Ow!
And then look, one more and big break.
First snowball.
Okay, let's put daisies to Grandma, not roses. And look, here is the word daisies right here. Okay, can you copy that word? Daisies? Daisies, not roses. Finished basket. You did a nice job. Happy face. How many more do we need?
Allison doesn't know
How many more happy faces do we need for a big break?
Mega Blocks.
Do you want Mega Blocks for your big break?
Yes.
Okay, one
I'm
more.
so excited.
Perfect. Okay, you read this story, then you can go have your big break. Okay? The first snowball.
It is a cold, cloudy day, but we are so happy. Today is the first snowfall of the winter. We will get to play outside in cold, white snow year. We will get to wear our mittens.
Reading nicely.
Our snow pants and our new boots. Never mind. We will use our shovels.
Gotta read nice for a happy face.
We will use our sleds. We will make a snowman. We will have a snowball fight. It will be a fun day out in the snow.
Is there snow outside?
No.
What does it look like out there?
Summer.
Yes. Do you like summer or winter better?
Summer.
High five, me too.
His
Okay.
winter is going
Look
to
at-
be petless.
Do you get a big break? Do you have all smileys?
Yes.
Okay. Come on over.
You're gonna get the big blocks?
Yeah, she has.
Four pickles and muffins.
So she gets 10 minutes for her big break.
Four pickles and muffins. 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 It's putting all the toys away. Sure. Clean up. Pickle and muffin. More pickles and muffins. I'm sorry, don't cry. No. And I'm a boy out there. Oh, you a boy kiss. Hey. More pickles and muffins. Oh no. Oh no. More pickles and muffins Pickles and muffins? Stop this nonsense.
Taylor,
Yes?
what do you say?
Excuse me.
Thank you.
I got the hiccups on it. My hiccups are gone. Pickle and muffin. Come on, come on, come on. Pickle and oh, never mind. For pickles and muffins, I used to just stop this nonsense. But there was something I said. Check you later. I don't know what you're doing. Come on, come on, come on. And the ice cream, and it's broken because she's like freaking out. But Barbie, can you please? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go. Never gonna frighten her again. Bella, why are you crying? I brought some ice cream what they want. Oh no, but the ice cream brought is melting because she's like freaking out. But Barbie can. Oh no, what did she do? For pickles and muffins. Pickle and muffin. Good luck with that. No, again. Again.
Taylor, check your timer.
Check my timer.
Yep.
happened to my world? It's clogging down. So, then clean up. Voila, it is clean. More pickles and muffins. I use it to stop this nonsense. It's okay. These aren't safe for babies. Oh no. There's another question. Bothering you.
Check your timer, Taylor.
What happened to my world? It's messed up.
Joe forgot his insulin pack. Oh, so I gotta take it down to the cart. Finish this one.
Now what do we do?
Check your timer. Still
You're never gonna save the world? Uh-huh. Anyone else? No? No. Oh, that's gonna hurt.
this little boy right over here.
How's it going over there? 1, 2.
Taylor, check your timer.
Yeah, she's gonna come down and go to gym.
Alright, so
10:30.
What else do we need?
Okay. Wait, can you hold it up? So this is, they're using their visuals for him. We'll shut
We're gonna
this
do it again.
door.
We'll do it again.
How are you today?
Okay, let's put the placement on there. Good job. Okay, what are we gonna have for snack? What are we gonna have? What is that? Crackers? Put it down there. Good job. Wait, we need a plate. Put the crackers down. Come get a plate. I'll take the crackers. Take the plate. Thank you. Do you want some water?
Water.
Okay. Come get water. Good job. Crackers. Good job. Take them out. Take out the crackers. Crackers. Where are the crackers? Get them out. You need help? Put them on the crackers. Put the cracker down. Good job. Do you want apples too? Apples? Okay. Apples?
Apples.
Good job.
Were you going to show any of the other stuff?
I was just thinking this right now. Good job.
Go shopping.
Gonna go shopping? Okay. Take a bite of apple? Ooh, it's a big bite. You got a big bite.
Where you have hat and coat and now this will probably go on for 10 minutes. Where you
Okay.
just eats. There's some other things you could probably take pictures of.
Yes, please, whatever you recommend.
Yeah. Like this would be like one of the
visuals? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Using the cap and the stuff is in there. And
Thank you. You're my producer, so you let me know.
Oh, geez, if I'd known that.
It just helps if you kind of guide me.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
It's fine. I'm not sure what to look for.
Okay. Here's his schedule if you want to get another visual
Oh, thank you.
schedule.
This is him, huh?
Yeah. And the different teachers, there was teachers and an aide. What else, Chris?
We do that visual schedule, then when I'm working with him, then I'll go through a schedule so that,
So we, like, this is the whole day and this is what's gonna happen while he's at this spot.
Gotcha.
so we just finished this, we'll take it off, then we'll go to ABCs. If he does 10, we count out the 10 counters on the grid, then he can have iPad time. We start off the morning with good morning, today is. He moves the star from day to day to reflect the appropriate day. If he has a meltdown, he has this chart as an option of what he can do to calm himself down.
Do you wanna answer some questions?
Miss St. Auburn will be
I can
glad
sit
to.
and eat with him if you wanna go
I
through
can,
that
that's
list of
mine.
questions.
Right. I will be glad to because usually that's what I do. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
I could talk to them right in that room if that's.
That, I think that would be nice.
That would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laura, you have the list of questions somewhere?
Yep, I do.
Okay. And she said you can stay in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever makes.
So I'll ask you the questions.
Okay.
Go get comfortable. Oh, I see you actually
So
have
do
some
you-
answers here too.
Oh.
Okay. All right, life is good.
Sit down.
Here, why don't you have a seat here?
Okay. Right.
Oops. Hold on. Let me just.
You need to move your head back because you need more lighting.
Oh, no, you're good. But just to make sure, can you give me your first and last name and spell your last name?
Laura St. Aubin. ST period, capital AUB as in boy, IN.
And then you'll just be talking to me.
Okay.
Okay. So, what changes have you seen in Vincent? Oh, sorry, no names. After implementing visuals.
More speech and more gestures.
Can you incorporate the question into your answer? What I've seen.
Okay. I understand. What I've seen using more visuals with the student is that the student is using more speech language and more gestures to what he wants.
I'm just thinking about what changes have you seen in teaching and support after implementing visual schedules?
The support I've seen using the implementing of visuals. It's more of a community effort, and everybody's on the same track, and to get the process to see the end goal using.
Have you seen any differences in behavior because of the use of visuals?
More so, yes. He does.
Restate myself.
Using the visuals. Using the visuals has definitely changed his behavior because I've seen him take a moment to rethink what he wants and then search out what he's looking for.
So what exercise did you guys go through just briefly? What was this whole scenario of the kitchen thing? What's its purpose?
The purpose for doing snack time is for him to be more self-sufficient and independent in his eating lunch and snack, and hopefully the end goal is to eating in the picking up his own tray within the lunchroom. This is just a quieter version where he can sit down and he can eat his lunch, and then he puts everything away when he's done.
So you can talk about this is a special interest. So you can see that's a special interest. So you utilize that whenever you can.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell them that.
We use the wash rag as a napkin for him to wipe his mouth, and he does usually do a very good job about cleaning up when it's there. And his interest is in Spider-Man because we think it's because of the lines in the eyes. And he knows where the crackers are stored, so he has to ask for it, and it's gotten him. He's definitely more used to asking for the cracker. He knows he can relate the picture, the word, and the action together. As you can see, he just used it appropriately. He almost got everything.
Now I know she wasn't here 2 years ago, but 2 years ago, before we ever used this, he ate everything with his fingers, with his hands, and it was, he didn't know the proper settings for anything like that. So this is just
sure. And are you all done? All done? Okay, go put it away. Just stick it down there. Go put it away. Thank you. Nice job. Any more apples? Oops, sit down. Thank you. Is that cold? Just lean over. Cold.
So how important is it having the dedicated spaces like this for this type of learning? Has it helped?
The space for his learning is definitely a high priority because we have it's a smaller area that simulates what the lunchroom would be. It also kind of balances off with his home life, whereas he sits around a table and he eats lunch. So it helps him kind of keep the conformity of an eating schedule.
The regular lunchroom is his sensory issues. It's too noisy for him in there.
At times. He definitely is able to sit in there most of the time for breakfast, and I think that's because that's also when he comes to school, breakfast is almost over for the other kids and it's getting to be quieter, whereas at lunch it's still pretty noisy. Are you all done? Are you all done? What do you want? What is that?
What is that?
Cracker, please. Sit down. Take out the cracker. Sit down. Good job. Oh, are you all done?
Then we can video him working with Chris over there.
Okay. Put it away. Zip it up.
You're gonna get it, Chris.
Good job. Go put it away.
Anything else you wanted to say, Laura?
Nothing I can say. I think just the actions, him actually putting everything away. I think it's kind of funny. He always has to grab that last cracker. Good job. Put it away.
Okay, actually, we have 5 minutes to 10 o'clock. So
Okay, so
we
you
could probably just go get set up for those girls.
Okay.
Because they'll be on time.
all right, very good. Thank you.
Good job. D. Good. Take your time. You keep going. C. K. Nice.
Okay.
Got 2.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.